Yes, ma'am. We can.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody.
We'll start today's session. Please note that next week will be the last session for the course. Okay. So after that, you have any doubts, you will have to share it so that we will get together and then if needed only, okay, on Sundays. So if needed, then we'll get together. That also will be for once or twice. After that, that support also will not be provided. Okay. So please see that majority of your assignments are completed before that. Yeah. So any questions till what we had last week? Any queries or any questions that you have? Yes, Kushi.
Ma'am, I just want to know how Unit 3 can be started. Like, I have an idea what you told. Like, I just want to correct it, is that it is correct or not. We need to choose one lesson. So if
Yes.
we are teaching that lesson for 2 days or 3 days, every day, like we can, like in the day also, we'll go with 3 activities, ma'am. Introduction, prior knowledge, introduction, and then closing activity. So here almost if we take for 3 days, it will be 3 threes and 9 activities. So in the sequence of Unit 3 starting sequence of lesson plan, how many we should include there?
Minimum of 4. One from the lesson plan. That's why I said take a lesson which will go up to 4 periods.
Oh.
Okay, take a lesson which goes up to 4 periods.
It includes
The
textbook
first
exercise also.
day your mentor is observing, isn't it? From that lesson, one activity. Okay. From the next day, one activity. Next day, one activity, another. So total 4. So minimum is actually 3, maximum is 5, but you can go up to 4 activities. That will be on the safer side. But every day it has to be one activity from the day the mentor observed.
Okay, and it can include exercises also. I mean, guided practice also.
No, don't do that.
Because
what are you doing this for? You're doing this for the last column of your reflection and
yeah,
learning.
yeah. Okay.
So what is that you have learned when you're putting, when it's worksheet, what learning will you be having?
Okay, like actually the rest of the lessons, like for the December month, it's a little small. It can go for 3 days, not for 4 days. So
Okay, you add an activity as a recap activity on the
yeah,
first
we
day,
can
right?
do it. Yeah, yeah.
You
Okay,
can.
ma'am. Okay.
Okay, teaching will be for 3 days. And the last day, it will be a recap activity, which can be anything, a role play or narration, anything, depending on what you want to fix for that particular lesson. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Others? Yes, Alicia.
Coming to Cambridge textbook, ma'am, which we follow, we don't have any particular lessons. We follow with the grammar topics, right, ma'am? So how do you think, I mean, how do you suggest I have to choose the...
For example, if you're taking a story or a particular genre that you're going to discuss. Okay. So your objective will be on the genre, isn't it?
Okay.
So it can be different stories that are related to the genre. And exactly your building. And if language, whatever literary aspects are going to be covered, if that is also there in the chapter, that will also come as one of the part.
Okay. Like if we are going to include the grammar topics also, it should be related to the lesson. The story we include. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes, Ravanti.
Ma'am, can we just go for grammar topic where it requires 3 to 4 days of teaching, some type? Suppose if
No. Don't do that. The reason is, remember when you're using grammar, it only comes as practice. So there will be no new learning as such. So go with a text, then an embedded grammar you can have. See, it is not about your lesson. It is about how much of variations you can show. And when your variation is limited, your writing, reflective writing gets limited. Okay, so don't do that. Use a broader one and do your writing. Yes, Shravanti.
Yeah, ma'am, regarding to the pre-primary, no, can I take the EVS concept so that it can go for 4 days?
Yes, yes. Go with
Huh?
EVS
Because
only.
yeah, this month I'll be having these vehicles come, ma'am. Any land vehicles and 2 vehicles I'll choose and I'll go with 2 days of each.
Yes, you
That's
can.
okay. Yeah.
But different activities. Every day, for example, you're asking them to recall. The next day, it has to be first day, something like, say, for example, they are identifying based on flashcards. Next day activity should not be flashcards. It should be something
Yeah,
else.
yeah, ma'am. Hands-on activities differently we can go with a
Yes.
treasure hunt or we can go with a different thing. Yeah,
Yes.
four different activities I'll go with.
Yes. Okay. So
Even
today
these
we are going.
activities when they're doing, no, ma'am, we have to take the pics and then we have to upload, right, ma'am, as an artifact.
Yes, generally avoid the face of students. Okay,
Okay.
you can take from the back that they are presenting, or no, having some no hand sequence or something that they are representing. That way you can. Or if it's an audio one, record only the audio and upload.
Okay, ma'am.
That also can be done.
So the pictures of the child should not be, right, ma'am?
Yes.
Like it should be like hands and the main thing should be the activity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ma'am, for unit 3, we need to submit 4, na ma'am, like lesson plan, observation feedback form, teacher activity log, and EOL, EOR.
Yes. Remember, it is not 4. Make it as 5. Please do independently. You have lesson plan, activity log, observation feedback,
Feedback form,
EOL,
EOL.
EOR. So 5 will come.
EOL, EOR usually will give it in one file. So in the
No,
same
no, no. Give it as two
separate.
separate. Only you are giving it as one.
Ma'am,
Okay, so
can
for
you
unit
just
1
repeat,
also we
ma'am?
need to change it, ma'am. Like
Yes,
EOL.
that's what I asked you to do. Make it as 2 separate Word documents.
Okay, ma'am. Really.
Because word count, remember, automatically
Yeah.
Cambridge will give
Okay.
when you upload in the portfolio. But if you are giving in the document, I have to separately hold it and check for the word count.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Sharmila.
Ma'am, can you just repeat for Unit 3 observation feedback, EOL, EOR?
Don't worry. Next week you will get it in the slide itself. Okay.
Okay.
First finish your lesson plan.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. First finish your lesson plan for Unit 2 and work. Then Unit 3, you should have minimum 4 periods for that particular lesson. That much you take care.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Minimum of 4 periods should be there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Ma'am, Shampa ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, like grade 9th, I was preparing a lesson plan, but we had to finish off the chapter because we need to finish the syllabus by November. So can we take again the same chapter which has been taught, or should I go to the other class?
No, it's not required. You see one thing, you can't change the class. You can't
Okay.
change the class. You have to, if you have taken 9th, you have to show that you have taken 9th only. And please
Oh.
do complete your unit 1 fast so that no, I told you, observation
Lesson plan.
finish that, then I can ask you to go ahead with unit 2. You're submitting with me the unit 2 without unit 1 will not work out. Okay. Yeah.
Will do. Will do.
Yeah. So this week, it will be formative assessment methods that support and monitor students' learning. So already we have covered LOI and J from the module guide. So now I want you to read through this and list down the activities that you would be preferring to do in Unit 3. Your checklist is whether it has clear aims and objectives, coherent structure, which is clear middle, beginning, middle, and conclusion. Then variety of teaching learning activities, range of formative assessments that you're using, and a variety of learning materials and resources that support your learning and teaching. Okay, give me, like, you can plan. Don't go with role play, narration. Think of different activities that you can use in your class. Just put the list in the chat box. What is the list that you can go ahead with your unit 3 that you feel? So everyone will have a list of activities that you can have for your unit 3. Again, there are some of you who have not started your assignments, please note that. Okay, if you're not completing your work by March, because March there is no upload, uploads cannot happen in April and May. And beyond that, you will not get the same batch of students, and we will not be entertaining any more of assignment submission or submission to Cambridge. Okay, May will be the last upload for this batch. That is because March there is no uploads for Cambridge. Okay, so you will have to submit all your units and works, especially those who are dealing with CBSE. You will have to complete your entire assignment by February, because March generally the new academic session begins, your class changes, so you will not be allowed to take new batch. For Cambridge, March will be the end. So after that, April, we need 1 month for review. Your work, if it is completed by March, April, we can complete the review, upload it in your e-portfolio. That also 2 or 3 reviews will happen. Okay. So then it will be uploaded in May. Those who are completing it fast, we will start with the Jan-Feb uploads. Okay. And remember, all of you will not be uploaded at a stretch. So please understand this and see that your assignments are completed fast, because if you're not completing, you will not have the same batch of students, and we will not be extending this course uploads beyond May. Okay, please note it. We will not be extending at any point of time beyond May. So May upload has to happen. It has to be ready in your e-portfolio by April end. Then only May upload can happen. Okay, yes.
Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am. Suppose Unit 1, if I take a different class, grade 10, and Unit 2 for the lesson plan, if I take a different class, is it okay?
No.
No, same class.
Same class. Unit 2 and Unit 3 must be the same class, same section. Because in the first page, under your candidate requirements and educational background, you will be talking about the students whom you are going to deliver this practice.
Okay.
So it has to be the same batch of students. Remember, once you join your module 2, module 3, that is for diploma part, module 2 and module 3 also should be the same students, same batch of students.
Okay, so it's better not to take the outgoing batch.
Don't take the outgoing batch.
Okay.
And I would ask you, if possible, restrict yourself to class 8. Don't even touch 9th class, because you will have to complete the syllabus there. Look at, so take up to 8th class so that you will have ample time to work on them and have your lesson plan with different activities.
Okay. Ma'am, one more question. Experienced teacher may take any class. So that is not to
That
do
is not a problem.
that is
That
not
has
relevant.
nothing.
Okay,
Yeah.
that has nothing. Okay, okay. Fine, ma'am. Understood, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Chaitanya, fine. Debate, group discussion, role play, flip classroom, learning station, model making, hands-on activity. Please, others, don't repeat the same. Huh? Please do not repeat the same. Already Manjari flip classroom is given, jam, okay, board games, integrated projects, right? Assignments, projects, quiz, summary of lesson, concept mapping, fine. Gamification, Excel share, Harkness table, debate, okay? Story puzzles, pass the story, build the story, interviewing, sentence building, relay, fine. Storytelling, art integration with the topic, games, puzzles, peer review, digital games, right? Turn code, fine. Yes. Vocabulary, dictionary reading, relay, sentence, scramble, word, bingo, fine. Okay, computer, simulation, math, bingo, math, in ground, visible thinking activities, fine. So now that you've got a list of activities, let us see what exactly we are looking at. Hangman. Manjari, I'm not very much sure of what is this activity of hangman.
Hangman is a vocabulary activity, ma'am. So it's basically with the help of the last word. So suppose, I'm talking about bus, B-U-S. So with the S, you have to again frame one more word, and there's a man. They are going to draw a man beside that activity, and if you're not able to tell, then the man will be hung. So each and every step, they have to draw that man. So that's called hangman activity, ma'am.
Okay. 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 So today's our learning outcome K is teach lessons using formative assessment methods to support and monitor the students' learning. The key questions are, what is your understanding of basic principles of assessment? How do you use formative assessment in your practice to support as well as monitor your students' learning? Why does having an understanding of the concept of assessment for learning AFL help the teacher use formative assessment methods more effectively? Why is providing formative feedback an important part of AFL practice? Okay, so these are the key questions. So let us now have a lesson plan activity. I know that many of you have not started with your unit 2, but just imagine a lesson. Think that you have made a lesson plan of your unit 3. Now, download the activity log from your e-portfolio and plan a sequence of activity related to your subject in the activity log. Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. Open your portfolio. Please download the activity log and please understand the lesson plan format for Unit 2 and Unit 3. There is a slight change. Do not use the Unit 2 template for Unit 3. Okay. Download the activity log. Download the activity log. Sorry, Aarti, I missed your this one. Okay, I'll try and create now your this one. Aarti, you are there. Can you access your mail, Aarti?
She's
Maybe she's
morning, Sudha ma'am. She's messaged and mailed. No,
yeah,
she
she messaged. I thought, okay, if she's not able to, then no, I'll connect with her later and I'll see
yes,
that her portfolio is. Those who can access your portfolio, please open it and download the activity log format. Another one, those who are uploading after January. Okay. The first uploads in January will happen. Those who are uploading in the portfolio or portal after January will have to download the new templates, stick all your work to the new templates and upload. Okay. Yeah.
Ma'am, could you please help me in uploading or downloading this activity log, ma'am?
Open your e-portfolio, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I have opened.
Go to the PDQ Connect.
Just a minute, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Under that, you have the help segment.
Yes, ma'am. Guidance for candidates.
Open that. Evidence requirements you will see.
We should open this guidance for candidates, ma'am. That only?
Guidance for candidates or evidence requirements. You have it as evidence requirements. Under evidence requirements, you have down, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3 towards the end.
Portfolio templates. Candidate information.
Portfolio templates open, please. 1 minute. Let me just also open. Others are able to access.
Who are able to
Afia ma'am, I
access
shared you, check ma'am once.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, it is not guidance for candidates. You have evidence requirements. Please check that. Not guidance for candidates. Under that, you have Cambridge International Certificate in Teaching and Learning. Got it? Tehsin ma'am, don't open
Yes, ma'am.
guidance for candidates. You have evidence
Yes,
requirements.
ma'am. I
Under
have
that,
opened evidence
towards the
only.
left side, you see that you have Cambridge International Certificate in
Yes,
Teaching
ma'am.
and Learning. Click on that, you get your templates. Go down, you get. Just only the activity part you fill. Don't fill anything else. Okay?
Ma'am, we have to fill the evaluation of activity, ma'am.
No, only
Reflection.
the activity. Yes.
Okay.
Only the activity part of it. Activity, you have the next column. Don't write the evaluation part of it. Why you are conducting that activity, that part is there. No, 2 columns. First, then the second is the date column. Don't fill the date column. The next one.
Activity was chosen, that part, ma'am.
Yes, why this activity was chosen.
And this is teaching activity log, ma'am.
Yes.
Do we need to fill the reflection column?
No, don't fill. Because that you've not done it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, if you've completed, one of you can share.
Ma'am, I have done with one activity. Shall I share it, ma'am?
Yes, please. Right.
Ma'am, I have taken the activity learning stations, ma'am. So for the upcoming lesson, I have planned this activity for grade 9. So we are going to deal with transport in animals, a circulatory system, ma'am. So in this activity, I'm planning to divide the students into 4 groups. Like all, actually, there are 4 types of learners. So based on, I am teaching them from past 6 months. So I have observed like a different activities they require to learn in the class. If I'm going with one method, mostly they are not at all concentrating. I felt many times. So this activity actually it is suggested by my mentor, ma'am. So when I said this is what happening in the class, ma'am. So how can I go with the class? Then she told like this you can go so that it will be very helpful. So I'm
Now here, Chaitanya, there is one thing.
yes,
When
ma'am.
you say learning stations, remember if you are using rotating learning stations, you can't use for it's generally learning station comes with rotation.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, that is they do part work first. Okay, then the remaining work they go to the next station and do. Then the third station. So it is a self-paced work.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so here you are using learning station for different learning style. So
Yes,
it has
ma'am.
to be a fixed, instead of using the word learning stations, you can directly use it as VAK activity, visual auditory kinesthetic learning activity. So, and you can mention that as a differentiation activity. Okay, it's a differentiated activity, you can mention it as. I'm just suggesting, it's up to you. You can also check the list. And because I remember your mentor also used learning stations, but you check her activity, that is different. But I would suggest not to, okay, because again, that will result in plagiarism. So avoid looking at any of the other activities. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
whatever for evaluation of the activity is also correct. Now, when it comes to reflection, I've told you not to write, but please do listen because this is where, like I have seen everyone making mistake. Reflection is about you, not about your students. Okay, read the question. What did you learn about your teaching practice from using this activity? So generally what candidates will write is, my students learned this from this activity. My students were learning. I saw that my students doing these work. No, that is not what is expected. It has to be when I observed my learners during this activity, I understood. It has to be about you, not about your learners learning. It is about your learning. Please, I'm repeating this because even after a number of times, this part comes as a mistake from candidates. Okay, it is your learning and not your students' learning. You're observing your learners learning and you are coming to a conclusion of how they are learning. So it has to be your reflection, not your learner's reflection. Clear? Yes, this is fine, Chaitanya. Yes, you can stop.
Ma'am, I'll do one thing. I'll do this activity, but I'll include other activity in my activity log, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, that also you can. Any activity from the implemented lesson should be the first activity.
Okay.
And please do not do 2 activities on the same day.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It is not at all advised because Cambridge will outrightly reject because it means that learning has not completed and you have again made another learning on that day. So don't do it. See that the days are in sequence, and it need not be very next day also. Sometimes you may have 1 or 2 days break, afterwards you have the next period. That is also fine. But 2 activities should not be done on the same day. Okay?
But the activities can be repeated, ma'am?
No. It
No?
has to be different activity. That is why we say variety of formative assessments.
Okay.
So variety means there should be change.
Ma'am, can we have the activity as a that we have those butterfly field activity kits and all? So that can
Yes,
also
you
be
can,
regarded.
you
We
can.
can
Yes, you can.
mention
You
that
can.
also.
But
Okay.
that will be only one activity. Yeah?
One.
Yeah,
Yes,
one
ma'am.
you can
Ma'am,
have that also. It's
yes,
fine.
in that,
Hands-on
ma'am,
activity.
actually, butterfly field kits may it is divided 4 concepts. May it is divided into they have one kit, but they have various things. So can I include for two of the I have to take only one of that. Lab
Only one.
activity can be one, ma'am. Lab separately, lab activity.
Yes, lab can be one.
Okay.
Hands-on will be one. Lab will be separate. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So it
Yes,
has to be different.
Concept
Okay.
map and all can be regarded as an activity, ma'am.
Yes,
Mind
it can
map
be
concept.
regarded as an activity.
Okay. Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to present? Yes, Neelam.
Okay.
Good morning, ma'am. I have almost finished. Just one line is left, but I would like to present.
No,
ma'am.
only one you write. That's fine. I'm not expecting
Okay.
too much. Only one is enough. Just to see the sample, whether you're writing it in the right format.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm sharing the screen,
Yeah,
ma'am.
sure.
Ma'am, what I did was I took different magnets, bar magnets of I have planned that I will take 2 different bar magnets of different sizes and a horseshoe magnet. And the children also, if you ask, they will also get like small round magnets. So I paired them into groups and I gave them a scale. So one end of the scale, they will put a steel paper clip, and the other end, they will put.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. What you have done is, don't use this row. Okay? Use the next row. This is the question row, isn't it? Don't touch the question row. Okay? Please, this also I've seen many of you doing. Cut it and paste it in the next row.
Okay.
Next. No. Next row. You're putting it in the next column.
Okay, ma'am. Here.
Now here all the next one also. Evaluation also, cut it and paste it in the next. No. You have removed the question also. Please don't touch the template. You're modifying. This is what we say by when you're not supposed to modify the template. Okay. Yeah, now see your first column itself width has increased, but in the actual format that width is not there. Okay, you're given rows for whatever additions you have to make. Okay, so partition it and put it. Right.
Okay.
Can you just pull that, drag that line up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Once.
Or delete it. Delete this extra space, it will go up.
Yes.
It will not. You have to delete the space. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Shall
See,
I?
here again, one thing is you should always write it with a personal effect. Through this activity, my students experimented.
Okay.
Okay, all your assignments must have that as if you have done it. Okay.
Okay.
So my students experimented the magnetic strength and compared the magnetic fields and concluded that magnets have different strengths. You need not concentrate on the subject this much. You can say that my students experimented with magnetic strength and they were able to compare, okay, and able to predict which magnet was of higher strength. Enough, isn't it? So
Okay.
that was the objective of the lesson. And as they predicted, I understood that they were able to talk about strengths. You
Okay, ma'am.
understood how to write? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, do I need to explain, ma'am, the activity?
No, no. Have you understood? Others, any questions you have in this area? How to write?
Ma'am, may I present, ma'am? If you can.
Yeah, Neelam, yes, you can.
May I
Alicia, I
also?
think Alicia had asked. So let Alicia present. Alicia, where is she?
I tried,
Yes,
ma'am.
Alicia, you can.
I tried with one activity.
Everyone is trying, Alicia. Put it. See, one thing is you make mistakes here in your assignment, you will not make mistakes. That is the reason I'm asking you. Okay. Okay. They will have to add a word. Okay, fine. Right. No, this one evaluation, you will have to elaborate.
Yeah, ma'am. I'll
You will
elaborate.
have to elaborate. Okay.
Yes.
And please don't write one sentence, two sentences. Please do elaborate on your evaluation of activity, like how Neelam wrote and how Chaitanya wrote. That elaboration should be there.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Manjari.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
May I share, ma'am?
Yes, please. That's why I'm asking.
Are you able to see, ma'am, the screen?
Yeah, yes.
So this activity, I did it last week, ma'am, with grade 8. So this is the board games. The students were divided into 3 groups and 3 groups randomly. The students work together to produce, board games for tenses, ma'am.
Now here,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
was that game you have to tell now?
The game
You
was
have told that students work together to produce a board game for tenses. What is that board game? Like how exactly they will be producing?
Okay, how in the sense, ma'am?
That instruction must be there. For example, if you look at Alicia, she said each group will add a word.
Okay, so the explanation need to be
So
given.
that clarity, of
Clarity,
what
okay.
exactly happens, that clarity is there.
Okay,
Okay, so
understood, ma'am.
that has to be given there when you're writing about the activity.
Okay, fine, ma'am. Fine, ma'am.
Yeah.
So
1 minute.
clarity will be added over here only, ma'am, or where?
It has to be added there only.
Okay, here only. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Activity was chosen to support students by providing hands-on learning experience for what? You're writing about the activity. You're not writing about the objective. What did you want them? Is it for hands-on experience or beyond that?
So over here, I have written this activity addresses the diverse needs of the students,
No,
offering it.
all that it is addressing when you explain there itself in the activity instruction. The question is, why did you want this activity?
I wanted the
What
activity
skill
for the
you wanted to reinforce? See,
reinforce the concept.
Don't elaborate on the activity. Elaborate on the learning that you want them to achieve.
Okay. So
Okay.
is it for the reinforcement of the concept? That is the learning?
No, not reinforcement. See, for example, my objective is that they should learn about tenses.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Okay.
Yes. So I designed this activity to help learners or to help support learners by providing them a hands-on experience which will give them a better understanding or a better reinforcement on the real life application of tenses or whatever,
Understood.
like how you're modifying it. Okay.
Understood. Understood,
So
ma'am.
this is more engaging and interactive, and I know that it will attract my learners towards learning.
Understand,
I
ma'am.
was, then you will have to say, how did you see that you planned this? How did you see that in your learners? So when I saw my learners interacting and giving examples, clarifying doubts, I was able to understand, or I realized that this activity is more engaging than I thought. That words has to be coming there.
Understood, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
then you tell that now I understand based on the outcome, whatever outcome, whether they answered, orally answered, or written answer that they gave. Now you were able to understand that the objective was reached.
Understood, ma'am. Understood.
So each time when you're writing about your activity, also rephrase. Don't write like, no, I learned that my learners understood for everything.
Okay.
Okay, you will have to rephrase your sentence, but the meaning should be the same.
Okay.
That the objective.
Okay. Okay,
So
ma'am.
your
Thank you.
diverse learners, you will have to mention why you are using this to achieve your learning and why you are using the diverse learning strategy in your class.
Understood, ma'am.
Okay.
Understood, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, Sindhuri, can you? We'll stop with Sindhuri and then we'll go ahead
Yes,
with the
ma'am.
next activity.
I think I have to make few changes after your suggestion here, but I would like to share it, ma'am.
Sure.
Ma'am, can you see? That's what you just told us, not to explain the activity, but to write the.
But this activity has to come in the description of teaching learning assessment activity new to your practice.
Okay.
Description comes there.
Okay, ma'am.
And
So,
don't
ma'am,
write about your subject content. Write about how you are making the students do this. Your instruction should come.
okay, instructions to be included, ma'am.
Should be coming there in the description of teaching learning. See there, students were grouped randomly. Students work together to produce graph to explain their results. So it's
Okay.
a graph based, isn't it? So the
Yes,
same
ma'am.
way here, you will have to write where learners were asked to write suggestions on minimizing water usage and steps for water conservation. So this was a group activity where the students discussed on different case studies. That's depending, okay? Case studies and came up with, they had to come up with solutions for the different cases that they. Then under evaluation of activity, now what was your learning objective? How your students work together in groups, and
Okay.
then how they produce the result. That has to be
Okay.
understood.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can I, I understood the other sentences to be removed, and this can be included, ma'am, through this activity, like my suggestion here.
No. Suggestions come in reflection.
Okay, ma'am.
See, it is here. What did you do? The first column of description is about what did you do.
Okay, why
Okay.
this
Second
activity?
is how did you do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what did you achieve? Third one is what did you observe? Why did you see that happening in the class? What did you learn from it?
Okay, ma'am. Understood.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it is 3 stage of learning. What, how, and why. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Ma'am, is it okay to show mine? As you said, that will be the last one. I just wanted to.
Sharmila has raised her hand, so I'll have to give it to Sharmila. Yes, make it fast, Sharmila. Then I'll give
Yes,
Garima.
ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Can you see mine, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
So this I plan to go with the simulation of building the shape for a given area. Like
See,
area
one more thing, Sharmila. Whenever you're writing groups, you will have to write the number of students per group.
Okay.
This is for everyone. Huh?
Okay,
You
fine.
will have to write the number of students per group that you're using. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So is the activity and evaluation was fine, ma'am?
Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute. Now, area concept, it is not there. No, you're saying that is area is given and they have to pick out the shape related to it, isn't it?
They have to build it, ma'am. Suppose if I'm giving 16
that is what that is what you want that idea for them to get. That idea they should get.
Yeah.
So then no, don't write exploration of area concept. Be very specific in what you want. I chose this activity because it engages students in hands-on exploration of what?
Okay. Okay.
Hands-on exploration of finding shapes for a given area, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Building shapes for the given area.
Yeah, building shapes for given area. Encourages critical thinking and analytical reasoning. Very good, right? Connects area concepts to real world scenario. Right. Now, how did you know this was happening in your class?
Because they were
Encourages critical thinking, connects concepts to real world. You can put it under your reflection when it comes. Okay. Here you will have to write more about what you saw in the class.
Okay.
Okay, you will have to write that I saw students discussing in the groups, okay, and thinking about the different parameters involved in areas.
Okay.
Isn't it? You will talk about, they'll be talking about the sides, they'll be talking about the radius requirements if it's a circle.
Circle, yes.
Okay, so I was able to establish the connection between the area and the parameters based on their discussion. So then based on these discussions, I understood that my students have an idea of relating area to specific parameters of a given shape.
Okay, fine.
Got it? That way it has to come.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, Garima.
Yes, ma'am.
Others, you're getting an idea, please make a note of it because after discussion also, you may not refer back to this video. Okay? Because many of us don't have that much time to refer back, but at least look at the time, make a note of it in this video, this time to this time you will be getting. So that no, you will have an idea of how you have to go about.
Ma'am, can you see my screen?
Yes, I'm able to.
Yeah, so ma'am, this is the chapter about kite.
Now here, I just want a question. They will be paired in groups of 2. Is it a pair work or a group work?
There, ma'am, to make
so it is a pair work, isn't it?
Paired work, yes, ma'am.
You need not write it as paired in groups.
Okay, I'll change that, ma'am. So that students will step out of the classroom to engage in the hands-on kite making activity. I will change this line, and material will be provided to them for the collaborativity and creative kite, fostering teamwork and creativity. So this is
Okay,
the
so your objective is teamwork and creativity, not related to any concept as such?
The poem is all about how a little kite is try to learn flying. So this is the first activity. Before talking about the chapter, I thought of taking them out to introduce them that how to make a kite and then what all the effort has been made for a kite to fly. So this is the first activity, introduction activity. And then, what all things are required. It is basically the chapter is talking about that big kite is motivating the kite to fly in the sky. So that is, I thought of doing the first activity and do it in this way. So is it okay, ma'am?
Yeah, actually, along with fostering teamwork and creativity, understand the logic behind flying of kites, isn't it? That also will come, isn't it? Because see, in the evaluation, you have written importance of balance and alignment.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
Sure,
then
ma'am.
that also has to be incorporated there.
Okay, okay.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
This hands-on activity will help my why kites struggle to fly, highlighting the importance of balance and alignment. Now, after this, you've written this fine, but after this, when they made what mistakes they made, they had discussion and they corrected themselves on what modifications they have to make in order to make the kite fly. That has to be written there.
Sure.
Okay. Otherwise, your objective will not be reached. I know that this objective was achieved or this objective was reached because I could see my students struggling to find out the different reasons why their kites were not flying. And through discussion, they were able to modify and make kites which could fly.
Okay. So that I will write in the evaluation or reflection, ma'am?
No, in evaluation.
In
So in reflection, you will be writing that during this activity, as I observed my learners working in pairs, I understood that such activity develops their research and analytical skills because the questioning and the logical ability increases as they would like. It is a simple activity, isn't it? A simple activity like kite flying could be complicated without understanding the dynamics of flight.
Okay.
So these words, no, you can just pick it up based on your objective. But now remember, when it comes to reflection, it is a more generalized reflection. I'm not, see, when I told also, I'm not restricting it to this particular lesson. I'm giving it a much broader reflection, saying that I could see my students struggling, but out of curiosity, trying to find out reason for a small project like a kite flying. So from this, I understand that when I give such activities, my students will put an effort in finding solutions. It was the right challenge to them. And then you will be further writing that I will henceforth look at such activities which can actually develop not only their creative teamwork, but also an extension, critical thinking and logical reasoning.
Analytical thinking.
Yeah. Got it?
Sure.
So you can extend there also in your reflection. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, one small doubt, ma'am. Like
Yes.
in unit 2, I have used concept mapping, ma'am, at the end of the lesson. So can I use that in unit 3, ma'am, or we shouldn't use?
See, why do you want to give the same name?
Actually, ma'am, same name. Okay.
Chaitanya, there are multiple names for it. Mind map, you can say Venn diagram, you can say cause and effect diagram. Don't use the same word because it is not new to your practice. You have already done in unit 2.
Yes, ma'am.
So it has to be new to your practice. When it has to be new to your practice, use a different name. That's it. See, I won't say that work out and find out new methods and all that. Sometimes what happens, you are using concept mapping. Here you can use it as mind map, graphic organizer. You can use bubble map. You can use cause and effect diagram. Search, you will get lot of other names for it. Okay, you can use that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let's look at assessments. What are the qualities of a good assessment? Okay, you have this link. I'll just share with you this. Read through this. First, you have to understand and then you can. What are the qualities of a good assessment? Please read through it. Do you get the article? Okay. Yeah, you are able to read.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions you have, you just go through it. Just a minute, I'll just close my door and. Yeah. Yes. You are able to get. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is meant by validity, reliability, and fairness in assessments? What is meant by validity, reliability, Eshravanti?
Ma'am, validity means like whether the objectives are, measures that are intended, the objectives are accurately, that we are competing with it or not, with the course.
Can you be more
I
specific?
mean, like establishing the approaches, like we are meeting our learning outcomes or not, ma'am. Whether our learning our objectives
Okay.
are designing the lesson plan appropriately according to the learning and the teaching activities are appropriate to it or not.
Anything else? Others, can anyone help?
Ma'am, shall I say?
Grade appropriate and content appropriate.
Yeah.
Valid to the
Okay.
grade.
And also meets the learning outcomes, ma'am. Whatever intended learning outcomes should be met.
Very true. So it is actually based on the intended learning outcomes, whether your question is related or it is actually looking at what should be learned. Okay. For example, let us take pre-primary itself. For example, they are supposed to be introduced to letter N. Okay. Now they talk about, no, let us say nest. Okay. Some words that they know. Okay. New, like that. Instead, in the exam, okay, you give a picture which they have nowhere connected with it. Let us say you give a picture of noodles. They may say noodles, but remember, they are not exposed to that. That is not a valid assessment. Okay, it's not a valid assessment. You're giving a picture that is not connected. Instead of noodles, maybe noodles also they connect. They think of, let us think of some other word with N, which they are not able to connect with. Okay.
Nightingale bird. Actually, that's a rare thing. Like for keeping.
Yeah, let us think that that is given to a child. Or let us say a map of New Zealand is given and asked which country is this, to identify the word starting with N. So those are not valid questions for that particular age group. That is how it is, validity is related to. Okay. Next, what is meant by reliability? Under validity also, you have three. That is content validity. That is whether it is going to cover the complete content. Construct validity, whether it measures that intended skill. Criterion, that is whether it is going to measure or test the other aspects of that particular concept. For example, I know many of the leaders would have faced this. Teachers will announce a slip test and you are targeting them saying that no, your class performance is not good. What do you think they'll do? Give 6 questions the previous day, ask the students to study those 6 questions. Next day they come and they are asked only those 6 questions. They are asked to write. Is it a valid assessment? It's not a valid assessment. So that also is a conflict. Okay, understand that their validity is lost. Next, reliability. What is meant by reliability?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Reliability is how authentic is the assessment. How authentic is the assessment? Like the teacher cannot be biased or the teacher cannot manipulate the assessment. So if the teacher is biased or manipulates the assessment, so it becomes unreliable.
Very true. But do you think all our assessments are reliable enough?
In the sense, ma'am, can you elaborate on this point? Like all the assessment?
It should be more consistent.
All the assessment, it should be more
Consistent.
Consistent, okay. My question is, as teachers, can we guarantee that our corrections are reliable?
Not 100%, ma'am. We try to make it 100%, but yes, sometimes it doesn't happen. Like,
where do you think? Because why I'm discussing this, if you discuss, no, you will understand the areas where prejudice creeps in.
time constraint, and we already have a preconceived notion about the particular student.
Very true. Yes, that affects, that hampers.
Yes, the preconceived
notion. Yes, that is true. Yes, Neela?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, reliability means when we are assessing our child, we will be looking at whether the child has understood the concept, whether he's using the terminologies, if the objective is achieved or not, if the outcome is matching the objective or not. So that way we can see if it is our assessment is reliable or not. Now, comes to like pen paper test or something like, yes, a little biased is there for children who are not performing good. Sometimes we ignore their sentence formations or the way we just look for the keywords. So will that be called being biased? Just to encourage them that, see, if you would have written it properly, I might cut marks or I might tell the child who has told proper sentences, but if the child is missing, I will be deducting her marks or tell them, no, it is not correct.
See that what we are talking about under reliability comes under fairness. Neelam, I'll give you an example which I have observed. Okay, a teacher correcting a good student, an above average student, ignores the minor mistakes and gives marks. But the same teacher, when correcting a below average student, the child has written mistakes, but his conceptual understanding is clear. But remember, the child is below average. So the teacher decides that the child will not score more than this. It's not cannot, it's not will not. It's a prejudice that has set in. So there it becomes unfair for the child. So there are two different students who is ignored because he is above average and who is deliberately punished because he is considered as below average. This unfairness, so over a period, what happens? This mistake becomes consistent in their correction and the reliability is lost for that. Okay, so when you have two correctors or evaluators correcting the paper, because remember, a teacher who does not teach this class will be unbiased. Okay, and when that teacher evaluates the paper, then this bias comes out. Okay, so this reliability over a period of time will get disturbed because of this bias that is creeping in. Okay, yes, Manjari.
Ma'am, sometimes it happens the other way around also, like, when the child is extremely well, so we try to push the child and we try even, for small mistake also, like comma, full stop, we do deduct marks because we actually want the child to score more. So we really
That is
become
only in
little,
your 9th and 10th classes, Manjari.
huh?
You're forgetting it happens only in 9th and 10th classes because we consciously correct only in
We
that.
consciously, exactly. And we
So,
sometimes we
but
become
that
very
doesn't
hard.
happen. That doesn't happen in your lower level classes. You check. I
Okay.
think you're also sitting in a leadership position. You check because 9th and 10th teachers, they are consciously correcting. The reason is they know that the child has to appear for a board exam and there
Yes.
the child should not suffer.
Absolutely, we do that. So,
But in the lower classes, this intention is not there because there is no standardized performance that is coming in front. So
okay.
lot of bias and reliability factors creep in.
Okay, okay.
You
So
check, no, once you check, you yourself will come to this conclusion.
okay, okay, okay. So can we call it as being biased, ma'am? Like, for the
Yes,
above
fairness.
unfair?
It is unfair. Yeah, unfair.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Then there are two more factors that come under assessment that is called norm referencing and criterion referencing. What are these? Norm referencing and criterion reference. I want others also to participate. There are these words that I would like you all to understand. Norm referencing, criterion referencing, assessment criteria, success criteria, achievement, attainment. Yes, Shampa ma'am.
This norm referencing is when we assess to a fixed norm. Like, for example, these exams, asset exams, the international benchmark exams, these are all norms set to a particular range. So we assess them, that is norm referencing.
Yes, that is. You have a certain standards that has to be met. Okay, that when it is only meeting those standards, we call it as norm referencing. Okay, so you divide students. For example, if you a SAFL exam of CBSE, checkpoints in case of Cambridge, even IGCSE. If you look at the final report, they give the average, the world average and the school average. So that is norm referencing. You have a group that is taken as the average. For SAFL also you have. This is the country average. This is the school average. So that, or the student. For example, if you look at all these Olympiads and all that, they give the rank based on the school, then the nation and international, country-wise and international. That is norm referencing.
That means it is comparing them, like we
Yes,
compare at
comparing.
different
Yes, it's
stages.
comparing. It's comparing to the group who has done better.
Average, like we take it as an average.
It's not average. See, for example, if you talk about marking scheme gives the correct answers. Okay, but when 10 of them write the exam, one of them writes better than the other. So he is considered as the norm for others.
Okay.
Is it like percentile, ma'am?
Yes, it's percentile,
It's
CGPA
percentile.
calculation, same. CGPA is done based on that. So
Percentile.
that is coming under norm referencing. Okay, what is criterion reference?
Ma'am, it is just opposite of norm referencing.
Professional
Individual checklist.
Individually. See, for example, our regular correction is criterion reference because we have a set marking scheme. Okay, we say 95, it is based on the marking scheme. If we say the child has scored 40, it is based on the marking scheme. So that becomes criterion referenced. Okay. Yes, based on the objectives. Yes. Next we have is assessment criteria and success criteria. Now, why I'm using all these words is you will have to look at your assessment performance also and give your feedback based on any of this. When you're conducting your formative assessments in your reflection also, these have to be taken into consideration. Assessment criteria and success criteria. What does that mean?
Ma'am, assessment criteria means like evaluating the students' learning skills, ma'am, or knowledge. Like it doesn't mean like a test, quiz, or assessments, observation, or through the projects we do it. To know whether the child how well he has learned or identified like where he has to improve.
Or
Whereas success criteria is specific, ma'am, like we need to give marks like whether they have reached the goals or not, how the performance is not. I mean, whether they have met the learning objective or not. That will be the success here.
Assessment criteria, ma'am, is it like the rubrics we call it as like the parameters what we prepare during the assessment? Is it the
assessment criteria is, yes, rubrics you can tell because it is again for a task. It's for a task. It's a task project or a test based. What is the criteria you fix for them to clear?
Yes, that's what. So that is the rubric. And success criteria, is it how many of them have successfully completed the task? Is it that criteria or something like benchmark?
Yes, we can. Yeah, benchmark that we set for the students. See, after your class, you don't talk about assessment criteria. You talk about success criteria. Your learning outcome is your success criteria. Okay, but your assessment or the projects or the activities that you do, you're assessing them and how they are overcoming that. That is actually your assessment criteria. Task based, project based, rubrics based, all this comes under assessment criteria.
Ma'am, success
yes, correct. It's a
criteria
legend,
means
right?
like success criteria means at the end of the academic year, whether the child has met the goal or not. That is the success criteria.
Yes, and not end of the academic year, end of the unit.
That's what unit.
Yeah. Yes. Any questions here in others? What is the difference between achievement and attainment? What is the difference between achievement and attainment? Achievement is, yes, correct. Achievement is when you reach the success criterion, right?
Whether the child is able to complete the task, reach the goal, we call it as achievement, ma'am. Attainment means at certain level, whether he has gained the knowledge or not, whether he's able to do it not, I mean, over a time, that is called as attainment.
Attainment, yes. Attainment is a level based.
Huh.
It is more focused on the level of the child's outcome. The outcome level it is more focused on. Achievement is not focused on that. It is whether they have understood, whether they are able to do a certain amount of task, okay, based on the success criteria that you were set. Okay. Shampa ma'am, attainment is level based. He can be like 40% achieved, he is attained, he has attained 60% level. So it is more of a level based grading of the student. Achievement is something based on the outcome, that is whether this child has achieved or understood this part and he is able to do something related to that project. Okay, it is more related to task and the objectives that is set, but this is more related to the amount of quality of knowledge. Okay, it
Like
is
how much person is
not
able
quality,
to do.
sorry, quantity of the knowledge or the skill that it comes with a number, attainment. Okay.
Ma'am,
Reaching the
achievement,
standard.
ma'am, achievement is specific to some task or assessment, right?
Yes,
Achievement.
it is. Yes, whether they have achieved, understood, that is achievement.
Okay.
Attainment comes with the grade and the score. Okay.
So, ma'am, which is the end result? Achievement or attainment?
Attainment is the end result.
Attainment is the end result.
So attainment means you are specific to a particular level. You have attained 60%, you have attained 80%. This is attainment. Okay. Okay, I have achieved this goal in my class. It need not specify any number.
Ma'am,
okay,
so
when you saw your student.
Ma'am, just a doubt, ma'am. If a student is scoring any percentage of marks in a subject, that will be achievement or attainment, ma'am? That is
Attainment, attainment. He attained.
okay.
It is attainment. According to the assessment terminologies, it's attainment.
And achievement will be then in the same example what Preeti ma'am gave, what will be the achievement then? Scoring grade is the attainment. No.
Achievement is in your class that you've given projects and they are able to answer. See, when quality and quantity comes, we call it as achievement. When you are looking only at number-wise performance, it's attainment.
Just like for the grading purpose, ma'am, that is attainment?
Yes. See, I'll give you an example. You gave a project. Okay. Now, when you gave the project, students are able to present it. Now you say, okay, my learning outcome is achieved. Now the same is asked in the exam. Okay, the same in the same group members, 5 group members were there. One was able to write about everything about the project. Now he got 80%, the other goes to 40, 60 different levels. Now that is their attainment in the project that they have done. You got it?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So let us just focus on the marks. So when we look at formative assessments should support learning in terms of design. Okay, design is whether it is within the right time, okay, whether it promotes the skills that are required, how it is implemented in the class, that is whether it is very easy to practice or it takes time. Then how you support your students individually or a group of students. What is the level of assessing that you're doing, whether it is in the cognitive, psychomotor or in the affective domains. Whether you're putting differentiation into the assessment methods. whether student involvement in formative assessment process is happening, and whether you're providing feedback for the students. Okay, so these are the different features of assessments that we have to look into. Okay, just I'll give you 2 minutes, just go through it, then we will. Okay, I'm just stopping here. It's 10:54, so I'll give you a small break now because I missed it. Okay, so we'll come back at 11:04. Okay, we'll come back, 10 minutes break I'm giving you. So 11:04, we can come back. Okay, just take a 10 minutes break and come. Keep your module guides with you. All of you are back. So I'll just share for you the checklist first. Okay, minimum of 3 activities, remember, other than the activity from your lesson plan. So we recommended 4. Okay. All teaching and learning activities chosen are new in some way. This is for the activity log checklist. Provides information on aspects of the lesson that make the lesson inclusive. That is, all students must participate in the activity. Make comments in the lesson evaluation box within the template on what went well and what aspects you would like to improve in future practice. This is for the reflection part of it. Learning activities should meet the students' learning needs, differentiating an activity by task outcome, direct questioning using closed and open-ended questions. Now, these are all part of the activity, not the activity as a whole. Okay, these are all included in that activity. Okay. Next, we have an activity. I'll just share this in the group and I'll divide you. Both of you can share, look at this link on activities.
Ma'am, actually you have given like questioning time. So the questioners will not come into the activity, right? These questions
You
should
cannot
be
write questioning as an activity.
activity. Yeah.
It is a part of every activity.
So what you are expecting from the activity is the questioning, like that way.
No, see, you have an activity, isn't it? You have defined morning, you showed me activity. Now, in all these activities, you can question the students to understand what they have learned. Okay. But you can't write an activity as questioning.
It should
See,
be a
many
part
of you,
one of it.
it's a part. So remember, when you are writing your formative assessment also, don't use questioning the students as an activity. Okay? Yeah. So I'll just divide you into 2 groups now.
Ma'am?
So group 1, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
ma'am.
Sharmila.
Sharmila here. The thing is, as you said, new activity should be there. So now, one activity simulation, which I kept in Unit 2. So I cannot repeat the simulation in Unit 3, even though the concept is different.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
So group 1 will be reading through approaches to teaching and learning. And you can go to the link also. Group 2 will be reading through designing classroom activities. Okay, you both can go through, but the question here is how you are including all your students and engaging them in your class during a written lesson. Okay, a lesson with the writing activity, how do you think you will be engaging them and involving them in the activity? Okay, so you can go through and you can, now I'll give you the breakout rooms. The activity is for 10 minutes. Pambika, you're not able to join? 1 minute. I'll push you to room 2 and then I'll push you back. Then you'll get a pop-up. Got a pop-up? Yeah. So can we have group 1 to present? Group 1. Alisha, Chaitanya, Manjari,
Yes, ma'am.
Mukambika. Yeah.
Based on the learners, ma'am, we should use different activities in the class. Like you have given here, how can we include all learners and engage them in a writing activity? So, ma'am, if you ask all the children to write on what they have learned in that particular class, so everyone may not write in the same way. So some may not write, some cannot frame the sentences at all. So so as a teacher, we should have an idea which learner can do what. So based on that, I can ask some learners, I can pick the learners and I can like a group of 3, a group of 2. So who cannot frame the sentences without giving the names like that, I can ask the children to just write the key terms what they have learned. At least if they know the key terms and how to define, not in a proper sentence, but if they know what is that key term related to and how can they connect to that lesson. So at somewhat they can we can understand that they have understood or not the concept.
Okay.
So effective learners, like active learners, they will always try to present their work effectively. So we can ask them to write in their own way. How can they present the particular lesson, what we have taught in the particular class, they can present in their own way. And a set of learners who cannot present well and who are not very dull also, medium, average learners, we can ask them to make a flow chart and connect each word. Like how this word is related to this. So how can we frame this entire lesson in a form of map, what we have learned today? So like that, we can, by differentiating in that way, we can make sure that all the learners are engaged in the class and they are working on it.
Adding on to
Okay.
Chaitanya
Ma'am,
ma'am's
I'm just
point.
stopping. I'm just stopping. Kushi, just a minute. Veena ma'am, can you just throw some light on that? Veena ma'am? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as per the table 8 in the document you have given, we have different kind of learners as well as different kind of teacher attributes that are given, like reflective teacher, reflective learner, confident learner, collaborative learner. So based on this, like how Chaitanya told, if they are reflective and confident learners, we can give them individual writing task of summarizing or writing a gist of the whole lesson to be explained to the whole class. But if they are children who are not very confident, in such cases, we form a team and we ask them to do collaborative work where they can make their own mind maps or they can devise their own methods of explaining a concept. So that will be for learners who are collaborative and engaged learners. Now, whole class activity is again given for children who are innovative as well as collaborative. So innovative ideas can come and they can collaborate and work together in a team. Then we can give them a whole class activity, writing activity, like making a comic strip or making a mind map or making a puzzle and asking the class to solve after writing the concepts. This can be done.
Okay, next is Mukambika. Can you just throw some light on that? Mukambika.
Through interactive activities, we can include all the children in a for group discussion or peer reviews.
Okay.
Like, ma'am?
As a writing activity?
They can work in concept map or through
Okay.
flow chart.
Right.
And even through diagrams.
Okay.
In science, they can make us diagrams, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else?
Ma'am, writing activity also can be the story map, ma'am. As Veena ma'am pointed out, it can be
Ma'am,
story
when
map.
it comes to
Yeah, when it comes to the writing task, after introducing after finishing the lesson, the particular lesson, to summarize it, there are few students who are not very good with summarizing or, using the particular keywords. So we can always ask them to see the keywords from the textbook and give them the elements of the story and ask them to put it in the proper slot, like the elements of the story, the plot setting, characters, minor, major, or the protagonist, and then the theme, what was the problem of the particular story and what was the solution given. So that would definitely cover the entire, story. And this also will help the student to understand the story or the lesson better.
Okay, right. So I'm just stopping here with group 1. And one more aspect is the attributes that were read by Veena ma'am. It is not for differentiating learners. It is the target of Cambridge. It's called Cambridge attributes, which is to be developed to the learner, as well as that attribute should be shown in the teacher. So after this course, that is next week, we will be telling you, you will have to reflect on how you are developing these attributes as a teacher and thereby imparting these attributes among your learners. Okay, the next week we will be discussing on that. Okay, now let us move on to group 2 on how exactly these activities you have developed. Yes, group 2.
Ma'am, I'll give one small example. Like I have taught electrolysis in the class, grade 8. So as a after explanation, though I have done a STEM kit activity and they had understood the process of electrolysis and its applications. So as a writing activity, I can give them a task saying that write a journal entry, imagining that you are a scientist discovering electrolysis for the first time. So in that, you can describe your emotions, what were the challenges that you have found while designing that particular activity, your findings, the conclusion, and when you have formed your hypothesis, what was the result, the confirmatory result and all. So, and also, like, if they could have invented any other applications, because we have 2-3 applications which we already know. So if you are designing this particular activity, what is a new thing that you have invented also, you can mention that. So this journal activity will have a lot of advantages also. First of all, the students will be able to reflect on their own experiences, thoughts and feelings and all. It will also give a very major deepen their understanding on that particular concept that they have learned. There will be a very good personal connection also, because they will be able to connect with the content. So that would be one of the advantages. And also, obviously, it will help them in writing and all. So have the writing part and the writing skills and all will be enhanced. So that, and teachers also can track the students' progress about their understanding, how they have developed their thoughts on the topics over time as they are learning it.
Ma'am, I would like to add what Preeti has said, that we are taking the individual activity. We are not doing, say, collaborative activities. Sometimes children, those who are not good at particular thing, like let's say converting their own ideas on paper. So what they do is they sit in the group, they see what others are doing. 1 or 2 inputs they will give and they say that, okay, some other person is there to give that. But this individual activity, when we are doing, so we will come to know that how much they have understood and what is the new idea what we have started, trying to put. So they will come up with their own creativity, though they will write 1 or 2 lines, but let them write so that, they can also think, analyze and write. So that's the main motive of the writing class, that if everybody is getting an opportunity. And one very good idea has been given by Shravanti, that we start a story and then we can give it to the children. So they will write one line, they will add on to the line. So everybody is there and they are giving their own ideas to end up with a nice story. So I think Shravanti will tell you about the another activity.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. In this, like as Garima ma'am has told, no, ma'am, it's a collaborative story writing, ma'am. So here the objective is to create a story as a class, encouraging the creativity and teamwork in the writing skills, ma'am. So here the students, each and every child will have an opportunity to complete the story, to have their to put on their own creation and imagination into the story. They'll start with a prompt like once upon a time, a magical forest, and then they'll give pass it on the paper to the other child where he will put on his ideas to complete the story. So here the child, each and every child will get an opportunity to individually think, narrate, and go what next comes. Like his own application will be implemented there, ma'am. And it
Now,
will
in
be
both these activities, I'm just sorry because time shortage, I'll just cut it. In both your activities, what Preeti said and Shravanti said, if you notice, from last week's class, you remember last week you were struggling for
different.
giving activities where it is inclusive as well as higher order thinking has to be brought. So these activities cater to both, if you have noticed. It caters to both higher order thinking skills as well as it will be inclusive in the classroom, engaging every student who is involved in the lesson. So that way active learning also is ensured in the classroom. Okay, so I'm
And
just
each
stopping
child
your.
will give a challenge to the other child, ma'am, because
Yes,
according to their imagination, he will be framing a sentence. So the child will have a challenge how to continue the story.
very true. Okay, so I'm just continuing here because we don't have much time and I have to, go about the next part also. So this is in your session 14, teaching, training and tutoring for lifelong learning. In your session 14, this is the resource that is given. Okay, please read through this. Learning and teaching, that is page numbers 191 to 199. Note down or give me in the chat box, why should you use different activities to present your lesson or your sequence of activities? Why are we using a variety of activities in your classroom during your class activity? Okay, here is the activity. It's in session 14. Session 14, resource it is. Were you able to open?
Yes, ma'am.
Session 14, ma'am. Okay, tutoring. Chapter 16, ma'am.
Yes, page numbers 191 to 199. Why do you need variety of activities in your class? Just quickly browse through it and can you just tell me the answer? Yes? Yes, Manjari.
Ma'am, we need varieties of activities because students' attention span is very limited.
Very
And
good.
yes, and what happens if we follow the same activity or the didactic method? In fact, it becomes very monotonous and boring. So, as a result, to keep their attention, we need varieties of activities. Like in the previous, in fact, we had this where I think Shravanti ma'am spoke about the story. So I'll give my perspective, ma'am. When it came to the written part, story chain is very good. The children, they were able to, listen and then they would connect. But the same activity when I did with my group of children, it was a disaster. Because what happened, ma'am, when they wrote it, it went to the next child. The child who has written it, the attention span is gone. And now this child started disturbing the other children. So it was a disaster. From there, I switched over to story chain, like, telling, let them at least listen to it and then connect it. So the story writing didn't work out, though this is a very good activity, but then didn't work out because the attention span of the students, was very limited. So
Very true. Very
sometimes,
true.
as a teacher, what I feel, ma'am, on the spot, we have to change the strategy. So we have to
Yes.
switch over. If plan A is not working, we have to switch over to plan B. So
Very
that's
true.
what I felt
Yes.
after
Yeah.
reading this document, ma'am.
Very true. Yes, Yes, Shravanti.
Is it correct, ma'am?
Yes, it's correct. Otherwise, I would have told.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
correct.
okay,
What you
okay,
said is 100% correct.
okay,
See,
okay.
sometimes it may work in your class, but it may not work in my class because I have a different set of learning.
That's what.
Yes.
That's what.
Yes, Shravanti.
Yeah, ma'am. And also to accommodate the diverse learning styles of the children, ma'am, we need to have different activities. So, like example, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners. So each one will have their own preference of learning, ma'am. So using these mixed activities like reading, group discussions, or hands-on task or presentation, this ensures that all the students are engaged meaningfully in the content, ma'am.
Very true. Very true. Yes. Chaitanya?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, this is my personal experience in the previous school where I have worked. Actually, I used to take science in grade 6 in that school, grade 5 and 6. I used to plan a different activity every day to deliver the concept, particular lesson in the class. So every day, some different activities. So previously, I used to use the same activity like think, pair, and share, 2, 3 activities all the time. So, I have motivated by seeing another teacher who was using a wide range of activities in the class. So, every time when she is having the science class in that particular grade, students used to eagerly waiting for the class. So, when the science class will be, what activity teacher is going to do today. So, they're having some enthusiastically, children were waiting. By seeing that, even I have motivated and I have started using different activities. So students will have put lot of interest. They'll wait for the class, and based on the activity, they will show lot of interest. So chance of deviation will be very less if you are using different activities, so that learning will happen in a smoother process.
Very true. Very true. That's correct. Yes, Preeti, ma'am. You're on mute. Preeti, you're on mute.
Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, it will, first of all, as like Shravanti said, it will be addressing the different learning needs also, as well as I feel that the major thing is that it develops the skills, ma'am. So if we just do one particular strategy or one particular type of activity, first of all, it will be very monotonous for the kids, and to get their attention span, because at that age, we know that, like, hardly they can be attentive for a 5 to 10 minutes. Attention span will be there. To break that monotonity also, we have to use various type of skills, various types of strategies, as this will also help them to encourage their creativity, their critical thinking, thinking, and also it will provide them opportunity for reflecting also, ma'am, because if they are doing various different activities, they will have different opportunities to reflect on whatever they have learned, and also to apply the knowledge on the particular concept that they are learning, ma'am.
Very true. Yes, Mukambika. Shravanti, I'll stop there
Yes,
after
ma'am.
Mukambika
We
because
can
we have
address the
another group
diverse
activity.
learning styles, ma'am.
Okay,
We can
it
address the
is.
diverse learning styles, like students understand in different ways, like visual learners, some are visual learners, some are kinesthetic learners, and some will read and write. So for variety of activities, when we are including, ma'am, we can help and meet their needs, and we can
Very true.
engage and motivate them
Ah.
by switching the activities like individual activity, group activity, discussions, and quiz and all.
Okay, okay. That's true. I'm just, thank you, Mukambika. I'm just clubbing because the next one is also same. But no, just listen to me. This is a group work. Okay, why variety of activities are needed? So read about the inclusive classroom and discuss the benefits of inclusive classroom for one group. The other one is read through assessment for learning and how assessment in students learning and how feedback is provided. Now, what I want you to do is, the next activity is about differentiation. So I just want you, before going into the group activity, see the different types of differentiation that is present. Okay, differentiation by content, differentiation by process, differentiation by product, differentiation by negotiation, and differentiation by support. I'll share this also. Now, I want you to discuss in your groups about the inclusivity that you will be following, the assessment for learning practices that you will be following, and how you will be incorporating differentiation in the process. Remember, not visual, auditory, kinesthetic learners. That is the common process of differentiation that you're adopting. But go beyond that, look at content, assessment, support, okay? The product I don't want. Product is VAK model, okay? The content, process, negotiation, support. Pick out any two or one. That's up to you based on the book, okay? Read through this document that is shared with you, yes, and come out with how exactly you will have differentiation incorporated along with this variety of activities. We were talking of inclusivity. Now I'm asking you how you will incorporate differentiation either of content, process, negotiation, or support. Okay, I'll share this diagram also in the chat box. Okay, in your groups. I'll give you 10 minutes to discuss. Remember, please don't focusing on reading. Please do discuss, because when you discuss, you will get a lot of ideas to implement in your classroom. Okay. I'll just share this picture, then I will give you the time and 10 minutes time to discuss. Yeah, the image is also there. So I'm just opening the breakout rooms. So now it's 11:43, 12:43, I'll be closing. Okay, so you have had your questions. So can we start? Group 2, we will start. Group 2, can you start? Group 2.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, let me start with an assessment for learning, ma'am, as it helps identify whether the students are in their learning or guiding differentiation in the content or the process and also the product. And here, differentiation assures that each student, ma'am, receives an appropriate level of challenge and support, allowing them to progress at their own pace, ma'am, in their preferred style. Like they may be of different ways of supporting them. And the feedback here plays a critical role, ma'am, in supporting this process by providing timely, specific, and constructive comments, ma'am, that helps the students to improve their learning and also they achieve their goals. And my friends will be continuing this.
Yeah, ma'am. So, as we had discussed about the previous activity which we had done on journals, ma'am, on the topic of electrolysis. So, there we were thinking of concentrating on differentiation, where we are focusing on the differentiation by process, ma'am. So, where we can assess the children, the content that is taught will be in a similar way, or it can be taken like differentiation by content, where we are teaching them also using various methodologies like PPT or a video or reference books and also lab activities. So these are all the various ways where we can teach the concepts based, because the different learning styles can also be catered into looked into it. And now coming to the assessment process, where we are focusing on differentiation by process, because when the children are learning already, but we assess them where they can use their own style. Like, some child may be using a concept map, some child may be using the butterfly field kit and explaining the teacher by designing or drawing the particular diagram, labeling it properly, and visually, helping that particular process to be put in a diagrammatic way. As well as some children may be able to answer few questions, where the teacher can give them few questions and they can answer those questions. So that could be something where we are assessing them by using differentiation by process method.
Okay, okay, right. Correct, that's correct. You have the journal method is very good. Yeah, next.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, differentiation by support for the same activity, that what we all discussed is a teacher can give different form of support to the students for the same content, for the same topic. Like she can give help through the learning aids, visual aids, or the graphic organizers, and one-to-one support or to pair support. And even we can use multimedia resources or any software for that particular activity. There are a lot of multimedia resources available, like simulation, not only for math, even for science also we can use. So all these things, the support will be given to the students for the same content. And assessment also can be done in the way that's what students understood and where they are. So these are all the ways that we can extend our support.
Very true. Yes.
Ma'am, regarding differentiation by negotiation, the teacher will just give the topic that you have to learn by this. This topic you have to learn. Suppose electrolysis, suppose you want to learn. So she can just give them the ways, example of ways where they can find about that topic. They have to choose among those resources what they want to follow, whether they want to do the experiment and find out how the electrolysis is done, read through textbook, refer web, or see audio visual, go to library and find out. And they have to choose how they are going to present about that topic, like whether they are going to write about it and present, or do it through an activity practical kit they can take and present, or they will write a journal like what they have learned about it. So in different ways they can present. So the complete independence is given to the children. Only the topic, resources, and ways of presentation choice is given by the teacher.
Yes. For example, the best example for that is, let us talk about fundamental rights. Okay. Some of them can read the textbook as a resource, Some of them can go through case studies as a resource and understand and talk about fundamental rights. Some of them can even go and conduct an interview to people and understand about how their fundamental rights have been violated and come and present. So it is different way, but the topic is same, the different methods with which they act and interact to understand that particular concept. So this you can mostly use with your GP, okay, global perspectives topic, and also with your science topics you can use, right? Right. Even English grammar. See, some, for example, you take a grammar topic, you can ask them to make sentences of their own. Some can use a textbook topic and underline sentences where that grammar has been used. Some can go to a newspaper and an article and understand how exactly it is used in reporting an incident. So these are different ways in which students can interact with materials and come up with their understanding of that particular topic. Okay, now I'm just moving to group one. Group one, yes, you can present.
Shampa ma'am, if you can present, myself and Chaitanya will put in the concepts.
Okay.
So this is what Shampa ma'am had done. She had used the Harkness table for a topic in social sciences. But we are seeing how we can apply this to science to see whether we have understood the concept well. So here panelist 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of the panelist, probably we give topics 1, 2, 3, 4. Chaitanya wanted to talk about circulation. Chaitanya, correct me wherever I go wrong. We just wanted to, we can divide the children into first group talking about the heart, second group talking about the blood vessels, third group talking about the type of circulation, that is pulmonary circulation, and the other one is the systemic circulation. Chaitanya, anything else to be added here?
Yes, ma'am. Advantages of this, ma'am, like circulation. Why the circulation is important in our body? First, before
So
going to
that
this.
you can, Chaitanya, that can be incorporated in every part, isn't it?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Whatever topic ma'am has told, there you can actually incorporate.
Double and single circulation we can add, ma'am. Related to this, circulation, double and single circulation.
Chaitanya,
So
ma'am,
every
here
group,
I've written that new solution for problem 1. So there are diversion in circulation. And there the student can bring up a new problem like suppose the pancreas. They are not used in the circulatory system. But how do they act as a catalyst in our system? So like that problems, like suppose acidity, how is it brought? Like where in circulation goes wrong, which brings into this side effect of, so one problem can be stated and a solution can be given by the
It
new.
about like anyway the grade which we have taken this topic, they have done with mummy uni and multicellular organisms, so that is every organism do have the circulatory system, or like one question we can erase, so they can work on that. So how do these organisms can be the organic compounds will be transported in the unicellular organisms? That can be a question, so that the learners will think actually. So how the transport will happen in this, or we can give one question like how it is different from plants and
Chaitanya,
animals.
you cannot
no,
go
we
in
will not
detail
go to
like
the
that.
specifics. We will just
See,
tell the general, Chaitanya.
you have given your
Yes.
work will be giving the topic and giving the question or what they have to do related to that topic. Okay.
So here,
Yes.
ma'am, when we say topic 1, that group, we will have different kind of learners. Few who are good in drawing will prepare the chart and color coding for the circulation or heart or different parts. And few who are, who can make models will make models. Then people who are verbal learners will communicate and explain the model and the diagram. And in the same group, we will have people who will note down the key terms, key phrases, and then they will be the reporters. They will note down everything. And people who are good in their communication skills will not only explain, they will also come up with a problem statement for which the others can give the solution. Shampa ma'am, is the flow correct?
Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Yes, ma'am, Champa ma'am, you can stop the presentation.
Yes.
So when we look at differentiation, please don't restrict yourself to the methods that you are aware of. No, go beyond it and start experimenting on different other types of differentiation that can happen in your classrooms. Yes, Manjari?
Yes, ma'am, I have a question. So now in English, generally we conduct ASL, Assessment of Speaking and Learning. So this becomes your formative assessment. Yes, ma'am. So now when we give a topic, suppose we are giving 5 topics and we ask the students to select any one topic from the 5 topics. It's as per their choice. So there are many children I have seen, ma'am, those who are very good when it comes to the written part. But when it comes to the oral, they are not able to speak. Okay. Now we are supposed to give them marks. So are we going to give them like what I felt, ma'am, that's very unfair. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Very unfair because see, we are talking about ASL, Assessment of Speaking, and it's a formative. So it's unfair for us to give only one chance. So I have also given them the second, third, fourth chances. So is it correct, ma'am? Because it's a formative assessment. We cannot only judge the student with the end result. Like, at one
See,
take.
Manjari, my question will be, are you only conducting ASL once? If your student is not able to speak, then how many ASLs have you conducted before the child attending the final ASL exam where you're supposed to evaluate the child?
Generally, ma'am, as per the CBSE rules, we are supposed to conduct ASL every month. Okay. But it sometimes, we conducted once in 2 months or, once in a month.
But
the
it is for the summative assessment you're conducting and you cannot call it as a formative assessment.
But again, summative assessment also, they have ASL like term wise. They have.
I know that. See, if you're not giving a chance for them to speak again, that means it has come to the summative assessment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how exactly should you practice or make provision for this child who is not speaking? Now, others, those who are speaking, it should be less. And for this child, it has to be more. That is your differentiation by support.
Okay, differentiation by support. Okay.
Support, because you know that the child is not very good at orals. That means frequently he should be asked in the class to speak about some unknown topic, giving him lot of provision so that he will perform better in your AS.
Okay. But in spite of that also, ma'am, if summative the child is not able to speak, so should we consider once
No, you cannot. Then see, summative, it becomes reliability, validity. So his performance is going to be rated on that some standards only. But during your formatives, you can train him so that he speaks in the summative exams. But summative, you can't give him multiple chances. That is not correct.
That's not correct. Okay, then there is a question in the reliability of the test.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
So when you're doing differentiation, look at what are the different possibilities that you can differentiate by content, process, product, negotiation, or support. Okay. Now this we have done last week. So developing HOTS in your classroom, developing higher order thinking. So we said remembering, understanding, applying comes under the lower order thinking, creating, evaluating, analyzing comes under. So you can just go through the reference document on how to develop blooms in your classroom. Okay, there are a lot of question stems also that are given in that document. I'll give you 3 to 4 minutes to go through that document. Just need not discuss, but just go through that document so you will have an idea of how exactly you have to develop stems to develop your higher order thinking skills. Just go through, no? So silent reading. There is no discussion here, just for your understanding and just yes. So you have read? Okay. So did you see the different stems that was given under this, and activities also were you able to see? Okay. So now I just want to have an open question to all of you. After you have learnt about differentiation, you have learnt about active learning, you're conducting different variety of activities in the class. Now all this we say is for learning. Okay. Now what happens if the learning is not happening in your class? How do you know that the learning is not happening? And what happens? What do you do afterwards? Didn't get my question. So you conduct an activity, you intended some outcome to happen, but no, you found that that outcome has not reached. What do you do after that? Or what do you do
Change our
immediately?
strategy.
Change of strategy. Before that, what do you do with that activity?
assessment.
How do you know that it has not reached the outcome?
Assessment.
Assessment, ma'am.
Okay, after assessment, right. Now, after your assessment, what do you do next?
We change the strategy.
First we'll
Identify where the students are unable to understand or comprehend.
The child is
Very
distracted
good,
and he
very
is
good.
not giving an ear also.
reflect on why they
So
did
1
not
minute, 1 minute. The point is what Alicia said. Can you, Alicia, repeat?
Assess where children are, where the students are unable to understand and comprehend.
Learning
Right.
gaps.
Gaps. So what do you do in order to overcome these learning gaps? What will you do? Don't say strategy. That is coming afterwards. Between strategy and
Individual approach.
individually, what do you do?
Instructions, giving instructions again. We will.
Instruction is before the activity. What is
Grab
that
the
word?
attention first, ma'am.
No,
Feedback.
We go
Feedback
back to the
and
foundation, like the
1 minute,
basics.
1 minute. Tehseen ma'am said instruction, but that is not the right word. Instructions are given before the activity. What do you do after the activity?
feedback and
Provide feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback. Okay. Now, what is the use of giving this feedback?
It
So
helps us to
children-
know, ma'am, where we have gone wrong, like where
Then
exactly.
we will know
And
where
it
we
gives
went
an
wrong.
opportunity for us to
1
correct
minute,
it.
one person at a time. Yeah. Shravanti, 1 minute. Yes, Chaitanya?
Yes, ma'am. Giving the feedback not only helps the learners, ma'am, it helps us also. Like by giving the feedback, before giving the feedback itself, we will come to know where we went. Learning outcome is not there, means somewhere we went wrong.
I mean, it guides
Somewhere
students
learner
towards
is not
improvement.
able to.
1 minute, Tehseen ma'am. Yes.
Okay, giving the feedback, children, the learner will come to know where he is, where the gray area is, where he should work.
Very good. Okay.
Identify the
Yes,
gray area
Neelam.
so that he can work
Chaitanya
on that
ma'am.
next
1
time.
minute. Neelam, yes, Neelam.
Ma'am, when we are taking feedback also, the learners should know which areas they are going to give us the feedback.
Very true. Yes. Now that is a very important point, because remember, if the learners are not aware of which area you're giving feedback, there is no use of you giving the feedback. Yes, Neelam.
Yes, like suppose for example, when we are doing the activity, did they understand what was the outcome of the activity? What was the objective of the activity? Which part of the activity they did not like or did not understand? Where they able to
Really
arrive at the
difficult.
conclusion or the outcome? So that we can break the feedback and then we can assess which part the learners were unable to understand the concept or they did not reach, and accordingly we can guide them what they have to do next.
Very true, very true. Yes, we have to actually guide them in understanding where exactly they are going wrong in their learning or in their understanding process. That is very, very essential. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else?
So on every,
Yeah.
suppose any assessment, not only assessment, whatever work they have done, we can give that feedback column, so we can write there any question so that they can find the answer. Through that they can know where they went wrong, like that. Or we have many
feedback is not questioning, Chaitanya. Feedback is actually you telling the child or guiding them towards making it better.
Areas
it's not
of
again
improvement.
asking question. Yeah, it's areas of improvement, but very specific and clear. Telling them that this is where I found that this answer you have not written. You should
Yes,
work
ma'am.
on this. That is
That
where
in a
feedback.
form, ma'am, that in the form of question also means, ma'am, some learners, like in my experience, I felt like when we write this area, we should you should improve. Then they used to come and ask, ma'am, in that area means specifically which point.
See, again, you are thinking, for example, your own circulatory system, single and double you
Double
have.
circulation.
Okay. Now, in that, you are not going to say read single circulatory system. You
Yes, ma'am.
missed these points. You're going to be very
Okay.
specific with them. Understood? You're
Specific
not going to
with-
question them.
Mm.
Understood? So
Yes, ma'am.
that is the specificity that we are talking about.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Tehseen, ma'am, you were saying something?
Even we can ask the students also what went right and what was not, like how the students were not able to do certain. We can take the feedback from the students to check.
Yes, your feedback
We can
we
involve,
take.
even we can involve students' feedback also, like what went well and what did not go well.
Yes, that also can be done. Yes, 1 minute, Neelam, I'm stopping you. Yes, Manjari, Shravanti, I'll not be
Yes.
asking you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because,
So some activity, ma'am, sometimes it's not successful. What I felt is also if the students are not the concepts are not very clear, the foundation. Like the other day, in fact, I did teach in fact tenses and followed by an activity. So few of the students did perfectly, few of the students could not do perfectly because probably somewhere they did not understand the foundation was not very clear. So as a teacher, sometimes we have to go back to the foundation and get the things cleared and then redo the activity. So that also we have faced many times, ma'am, in the classes.
Manjari, now you should not tell that. So where is the mistake now? If you have not, no, if the child has lost the foundation, where is the mistake coming?
The mistake is coming definitely from the teacher.
So what should you do?
That's what, go back to the foundation again, no, ma'am.
No. What is the reflection that you have to do? See, Neelam is
Planning
raising her
the
hand.
lesson.
Yes. In planning, what you should do?
Advance
Planning advance, in fact, organizes
Advanced
Prior knowledge
organizer
check.
is an activity. Prior knowledge check.
prior
Yes.
knowledge, testing
It
the
has
prior.
Always
to.
we should go with the prior knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, testing the
So
prior
that means your prior knowledge check was not correct. Okay. Yeah. Yes,
But prior
Sindhuri.
knowledge check may not be for all the, I mean, we before taking up any lesson, ma'am, we do test the prior knowledge, but it not for all the students, it's sometimes not possible, no, ma'am.
It has to be done. That is why we are talking of inclusivity.
Yes.
Yes. Now remember what I told you. Your advanced organizer must and should be done by every student of the class. Why? Because we are looking at whether that gap is coming from the previous knowledge. Okay. Yes, Sindhuri.
Yes, ma'am. Manjari ma'am have answered me. Like, what if only few learners were able to understand our objectives, and what if few couldn't? So it's where
So where exactly that gap is coming?
prior knowledge, ma'am.
So prior knowledge, when I told about advanced organizers also, I was very specific that you have to ensure that every student is answering for the prior knowledge advanced organizer. So how you do it is up to you. You may ask few students to come and represent on the board, but every child must have done it in their notebook. At least there should be some sort of an assessment to ensure that everyone is starting with the same base knowledge. That must be there.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, remember that gap is going to continue.
Yes,
Ma'am, in this to know the prior knowledge, just wanted to know, like, if we can, because normally we used to do that, creating a worksheet called as differentiated worksheet, where we have, like, before starting the topic, few questions section wise, and we make a one single worksheet and hand it over, and few children will be able to do it, few will not, so that we can know where are the gaps, and based
Yes,
on
you
that,
can.
then we
You can. See, differentiation doesn't mean it has to be in the lesson. It can be in the beginning in the prior knowledge also. It need not be into the lesson. Into the lesson also, it's a norm. Because no, you have to ensure that they have learned something you're doing. But prior knowledge is also there. Yes, Neelam?
Ma'am, actually, I have already prepared a feedback and self-reflection form for my students. So, like under different headings. So that is
Okay.
how I assess my
Yes,
children.
you can. You can. You can submit that for your unit 3 also. Remember, unit 3 mandatorily you will have to take your feedback. So next week I'll tell you, like you are dealing with the same set of students. Now, why we are asking you to deal with the same set of students is you will have to ask the students, how was my teaching before I took this course? And what difference do you see after this course? The 2 lessons that I've taken or the lessons that I'm now taking, what difference do you see? This question must be asked, and that answer must be coming in your evidence of reflection in your unit 3. Okay? Yeah. Yes, Shampa ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, for closing of a lesson, we have an extended hour, like from 3:45 to 5 o'clock. So there we are supposed to conduct classes outside the classroom, like in the garden or in the. So I made the students sit in a circle, and there is a hanky game where we put hankies at the back and we have to run around. So here, if all students should think of a question based on the topic, and on the back of whom they drop the hanky, if the student can answer the question, then he sits and the other students keep running. So all students were thinking of higher order questions, so that when they drop the hanky, if they can't answer, means they have to run for it. If they So here, I understood who goes beyond the topic and goes deep into the topic and asks questions which are of a higher order.
Okay.
So here we can distinguish among the high achievers who asked questions and never ran in the circle. But one who asked normal questions, like we say, like the first order of Bloom's taxonomy, only the recalling and only this, the students answered the question and they had to run again. Through questioning, I found out that students can come out with a varied ways of higher order questions and recalling questions and all this. So where I went wrong, I can understand whether students are going above the topic where I have taught them, and deep thinking and metacognition is happening.
Very true. Very true. Just a minute, Manjari. I'll just finish off this checklist part of it. Okay. I didn't share. Can you see? So this is the checklist that you will have to see for unit 3. Did you ensure the assessment on the verb you have used is in your objective? Did you check the level of Bloom's level that you have used with the activity? That means it should match. Did you assess the topic as per the objective? Did you consolidate the learning of the period using a plenary activity? Did you collect feedback and give appropriate feedback? Remember, collecting feedback is based on your lesson. How was your teaching? Okay, remember every class, please do collect feedback. Have the habit of collecting feedback for every class. Because if you have the intention of doing a diploma, then feedback is very, very essential, and you will have to have it as an embedded practice in your regular class. Okay, whether they have understood, where they have not understood, there are different ways, but you can always have that as a practice in your class in this. So this I don't think I'll have time, but I will just share this table. You will get the PPT. Please work on it. Okay, in case you have any doubts, please let me know. Areas that you have to look for your classroom in your lesson plan, whether you're having an activity for transition between lessons, whether you're having an activity for scaffolding, it can be the same activity, but either it is covering this or not is what you have to check. Scaffolding to low achievers, whether it has preparation of resources or have you had the preparation of resources which is required, whether it differentiates the learning, whether there is any assessment in it, and whether this is linking to the future planning for the lessons. Okay, these you will have to have. Okay, so you just think about it. I'll share this one. This one will be shared with you. You can rethink on it and get back. Okay. So today's end is Unit 3. You will have to have the lesson plan ready, EOL notes ready, an activity log. Okay. With this, Unit 3, almost everything is complete. You will have only next is on reflection, how to write your reflection when it comes to Unit 3. Okay. There is one more thing after next week. Next week is the last learning outcome that we will be handling. After next week, there is one more session, but we are not planning it on 29. We will take time somewhere in the month of January where you're having doubts, we are planning it. Are you okay with it? Or do you want it on 29th only? Okay, now the last session, that is in the month of January, will be a recap, will be an e-portfolio lesson where you will be given guidance on how exactly your e-portfolio should go, and a quick recap on how you have to work. And there will be a document that will be shared by FESDA on candidate guide. So when you are uploading to your e-portfolio, before you upload to your e-portfolio, please go through the document because there are certain guidelines on naming your files, especially EOPs, not evidence of learning and evidence of reflection. Your EOPs, your lesson plan and your observation visit form, okay, must be named in a particular way. That has to be done meticulously. Okay, and your first page of your e-portfolio also must be filled. There are certain questions. Don't delete the questions at once. Okay, write the answer in a paragraph. Maximum you should write only 130 to 150 words in the first page. Please understand, you type your words, it will give you the word also. Okay, check whether all the questions are answered. Don't remove the questions immediately. Okay, leave it like that. Towards the end, I'll tell you when to delete that questions. That time we can delete the questions. Okay. So you keep the questions like that, write the answers below. Even in your templates, kindly do not delete the question. Remember, these questions actually guide you in writing. So don't delete the question. Okay. You can keep it and you can write the answer. And no, it's generally not required to delete. But first page, we will tell you. Well, when we are uploading it, we'll tell you to delete. That time you can delete. Okay. Yes. So hope that everyone is clear, because next week it's the last session, and those who are absent for today, all of you must and should be present for the last session with your camera on and with the dates with which you will be completing your complete assignment, especially EOPs. Remember, EOL, EOR, you will be continuously working. Okay. So EOPs must be completed, then only we can fix a date for your uploading. If your EOPs are not done, because that is what is going to happen in sequence. If that is not getting approved and passed on, then no, your uploading will get delayed, and then you may not be able to upload. Okay. So please see that that is done. Okay. Clear? Any questions that you have? Yes, Kushi.
Ma'am, regarding Unit 3, I have few questions, ma'am. Like first, like as we for Unit 2, we shared the lesson plan first. After approval, we're executing. For Unit 3 also, first we need to send it.
Approval.
No,
Execution.
means like no, that's
no,
what
don't
after
execute.
you. No,
Yeah.
Unit 2, ma'am, I'm telling Unit 2, we
Unit 2
shared
also
you.
approval. Unit 3 also first lesson plan approval
Should be
before
approval.
executing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there are certain things that you have to mandatorily write in Unit 3.
Okay. So here in Unit 3, to write the aim and objectives, usually we will write for one day the aim and objective.
One
but
day
here,
only, 40 minutes only you have to write.
But here we are including sequence of activities.
That is a different template altogether. That and this has no relation.
But in
Lesson
unit,
plan is for 40 minutes only, 40 to 60 minutes only. You will write objective only for that 40 to 60 minutes.
so in unit 3, I have seen like a sequence of planning. So there,
Sequence is there. That is only for, see, your lesson plan that you're going to write is your mentor observed plan.
okay,
That is
for
40 to 60 minutes of that one period.
that is for unit
From,
3 also we have to make.
yes, same.
Okay.
From
Okay.
this, only one activity you will take it to the activity log.
Okay.
Then period, you will have your lesson continuing. From there, you take an activity and write it in the activity log. You need not have a lesson plan shared for that.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it. Got it.
Yes, Champa ma'am.
Ma'am, for unit 1, it is like that experienced teachers lesson plan and observation is
Yes.
the this evidence for practice, isn't it, ma'am? And
Yes.
second unit, like our lesson plan and our observation, which
First lesson plan, after me approving, then your lesson plan with observation visit form should come.
that pre-observation form and the post-observation total in one Word document.
Yes.
And in template, okay. Unit 3, like we have to do one lesson plan on a 40 minutes class, and the continuation of it should be shown in the activity log.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, do we need to provide artifacts for grade unit 3 also?
Yes, definitely. That is why just now I told Neelam, isn't it? Keep your feedback form, whatever she is doing for unit 3. You
So
can have an analysis of the feedback also as an artifact.
in activity log, we will write it in future tense, ma'am. Like I will be doing then continuation.
That is towards the end, last reflection
Ah,
part. That last question, what do we do in your future practice? There you will have to.
Okay, sequence planning can be in present tense only.
Yes. Present tense, past also, depending.
Depending on.
I observed when you are writing evaluation is afterwards, isn't it?
Ma'am,
Yes, Manjari.
yeah, ma'am. Is
So
it a
unit 2
complete
template only, ma'am, for lesson plan also for unit 3? Same template.
No, that's what I told. Unit 3 lesson plan template is different. Downloaded from the portfolio.
Ma'am,
But there I saw only activity.
1 minute. Manjari, you were asking something.
Yes, ma'am. Is it a complete no-no that we work parallelly in all the units, like unit 1 and unit 2 parallelly, ma'am? Because absolutely no. Okay. Because then, okay, until unless
See,
unit
what
1.
happens is, happens, I'll tell you. You will make, without your knowledge, you will make mistake. Without observing unit 1, you will make mistake in unit 2. That will lead to a resubmission. Don't do that.
Okay.
And if I also miss it, no?
Okay.
It will go directly for resubmission.
Okay. Because of that. Okay.
That sentences, no, that flow will come only if you do unit 1 and then come to unit 2.
Okay.
If there is a clash between what has happened, it will directly go to resubmission. So don't do that.
Okay, fine, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Now others.
Yes, ma'am. In activity log, we'll mention the other 3 activities also what we have done in that sequence, no, ma'am. So for those also, we should give the artifacts, ma'am. No need.
No, not required. You have means, see, you can use all your students' work as single document.
As a collage we can make and we can.
Not collage, single PDF you upload it now.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
You can upload it. It's not required that you have to have multiple artifacts. As a single document itself, you can upload. But in that, see, you are going to paste images in a Word document. Give headings there.
Okay, ma'am.
Headings there and upload it as a PDF. And there itself, you can put it. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Do we need to collect artifacts from all the students like a concept maps I'm giving?
No.
Not required.
Not required. Minimum 2, maximum 3.
So, ma'am, artifacts from artifacts from unit 1, unit 2, and unit 2 in, unit 3 in one PDF itself, we can keep it.
No. Unit 2 is a separate artifact. Unit 3 is a separate artifact.
So separate PDF we have to.
Yes.
Ma'am, and in the previous knowledge, as you were mentioning, ma'am, in Unit 2 lesson plan, if we suppose go with the worksheet, do we have to the worksheet also, do we have to present it in a
Student
form?
written worksheet. Don't give the blank worksheet. It's of no use for Cambridge. What students have written to, you can keep it as an evidence.
Okay, so that becomes an artifact.
That becomes an artifact.
Okay.
Ma'am, photos also we can go with minimum 2 and maximum 3.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. If no other questions are there, you can leave the meeting. Please to fill the feedback and send. Okay. And please come prepared with your timelines for next week. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.